Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. For the most part of this episode, it was just essentially fluff. But I'll dive into a little bit of each scene and just, get my thoughts on it. Steffi is asking Finn, is there a possibility that your father could essentially sired other children with other women, you know? And, how does that make him feel and things of this nature? And also, is it possible that her parents can get back? Is it possible that his parents can get back together? Now, the thing about Steffi is that Steffi is super obsessive in a way about her parents being together and their history and things of that nature. And partly I'm sitting there thinking, like, maybe you should have got some therapy. Maybe you should have got some therapy, you know? Because it clearly shaped you in a way where it's like you feel that other people is supposed to be as obsessive as you are about your parents and their records of them getting back together as much as he is. And I'm like, I get it in a sense. Like he kind of didn't really deal with it. He just kind of just he didn't deal with it in a way where like going to therapy or anything like that. But it didn't seem like it shaped him in such a negative way. Like honestly, tell you the truth, he seemed like he just dealt with it like it didn't cause him any like real lasting trauma or anything like that. He's very protective of his mother. He loves his dad, but he realized that his dad messed up, right? You know who does clearly need some therapy to sit there and deal with her issues? Lee. We're gonna get into mostly the Lee stuff. We'll talk about Bill and stuff like that afterwards. Lee. For the first 20 something minutes, she pretty much reamed both of them out. And here's the thing. When it comes towards Lee and her story, there is a bit of sympathy and sadness that goes with it. She was working 24/7, paying the bills when Jack, you know, I don't know what the hell Jack was doing, but he was not being man in the house, you know? And to sit there and do all that to get that type of betrayal with Lee and could possibly been her sister, yeah, that's pretty messed up. I'm not sitting there saying that I don't see a certain level of bitterness that comes from or the coldness that comes from how she acts and how she treats them. But she clearly never dealt with that. This is something that's just, I always sit there and push therapy and stuff like that. But I'm telling you right now, ladies, okay, I'm not a woman. I don't know how y'all deal with trauma and everything. I mean, hell, let's be honest. The world, a lot of times, is against y'all. Y'all have to sit there and kind of fight for the same rights that men is not granted with, but has. I understand that. But, how do I sit there and say this nicely? You don't want to be a Lee. Not only are you going to end up buying a dog and dying alone, but to have that type of energy. And it seems like she has that damn near 24/7. That's what you don't want to do. You know? It's very important that you deal with your trauma. Because if you don't deal with your trauma, that is an example of what you don't want to be like. And so that's pretty much what she does for the 20 minutes. And it's hard to have sympathy for her because again, she didn't deal with her trauma. She comes across as just so bitter and so nasty and so whatever. And I get that they could have possibly screwed her over. It's like, God damn, like, I guess it's like how, it's supposed to be a soap opera, it's supposed to be fun, and yes, it's supposed to have a certain level of drama. But you ever just find yourself watching her and her, and you're just like, this is supposed to be fun, right? And you kind of just lose that train of thought every time that she starts getting an angry rant. This is why I try to make my reviews fun. And even if I'm not cracking jokes like Spider-Man 24/7, I don't try to make it super bitter because no one will want to listen to me. And that's how Lee comes across. Even if you feel sympathy for her, you find it kind of waning a little bit based off of her energy. She does crack me up in a sense, and also just Jack had enough. He proceeds to walk off, and Lee grabs his hand. Now, you know how I feel about stuff like that, okay? Because if Jack was to sit there and pow her like this, that would have been an issue. I do think that Lee could have probably handled Jack because, like, she is kind of a badass, but, like, I don't like that, because if we all know if it was in reverse, she walked off and he grabbed her hand, people would be like, oh my god, this guy's an abuser. Somebody would say. Anyway, she grabs his arm and is like, you're not going anywhere. You're going to sit there and do a paternity test or whatever. And like literally yells at him to sit down. And he does. And I'm like, bro, are you afraid of her or something? Like, what kind of shit is this? And she like yelled at him like, you sit down. And he sits down and she pretty much stabs him with the needle or whatever. Oh, did I miss a vein? Let me do this again. And granted, the whole thing is supposed to come across as comical, but I couldn't have you see. That's just the way my mind works. But you're overthinking. I don't give a shit. You don't know if that was reversed. People would have been like, they would have practically wanted to pull the show. Sponsors would have been dropping left and right because of abuse. Anyway, she does that and she jabs his arm twice, and she's like, "I have Luna's blood," and Poppy's like, "That's against her consent. I'm doing this for her. Is this what we're calling this?" Because I'm pretty sure in every other language that's called that chick could lose a medical license. Now she's going to do the test. But now you have Poppy and Jack looking at each other like, and you just have to sit there and ask the question, are y'all really gaslighting this chick? Because I'm going to be honest, if this test somehow comes up, at least for this week or this month, that Jack is the father, y'all two are truly basuda. Okay, yeah, she has a very bitter attitude and everything like that, but both of y'all really screwed over this hardworking, very strong willed, good woman. Okay? Yeah, her attitude can be kind of shitty, and I don't dismiss that, but like, for all intent and purposes, she's a good woman. A little hard and negative and probably unappealing as far as, trying to spend time with her, and I don't think she actually understands the definition of fun, but y'all screwed her over, and y'all kind of made her this way in a sense. Kind of did. So, yeah, they're basuda. That shit comes up. Now, Liam is essentially psychoanalyzing them, right? The same stuff from yesterday, and this is why I sit there and say fluff, and he just goes on and on and on and on. And then he's like, you need to sit there and see Luna to get closure. It was like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll think about doing that. I got a lot of work to do, so you're gonna have to, you know, get the hell up out my damn house. Luna is listening to this whole thing. And of course, Bill's like, yeah, Tom Starr's your dad. Because, Luna's like, you're a protective, you're a good person, feel terrible what I did, upbringing, blah, 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 blah. It's not my fault, but I'm going to take responsibility when I'm not constantly bringing up my shitty upbringing. Of course, Bill's like, no, 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 no. Tom Starr's your daddy. Until we find out that that's not the case. And then Jack is. And then maybe he's not. Who knows? Anyway, Bill, any long-term plans for Luna? Because, playing hide to Luna Monday through Friday, I don't think that's going to work out long-term. For this brilliant guy who built an empire out of sticks and stones, pretty much, you have a hard time grasping the concept of this is not a long-term plan and somebody is eventually going to see this check. What are you going to do then? It's funny. I made a comment about how this is not really making sense or whatever, right? Or I said something along those lines. And somebody made a comment and they're saying it's a soap opera. It doesn't have to make sense. It has to make sense in a sense of I need to be able to follow this. Okay, that's like they're saying, okay, it doesn't have to make sense. So since it doesn't have to make sense, how about we just give Luna some powers? Yeah, we'll give her some. We'll give her telekinesis. That's somewhat real. I mean, about energy and thoughts and whatever. That's somewhat possible. Give it some powers because it doesn't have to make sense. Like it has to make some sort of sense, even in the confines of soap operas. Okay, that's pretty much all I got. Might have missed some stuff here or there, but that's the general gist of this review. If you missed anything, write in the comment section. Come to the live stream tonight. Thinking of a title, and it might be B&B. We'll talk about all the shows either way. Um, Still have that idea. Oh, screw it. I'll sit there and say it now. All right, so I'll sit there and say it's my B&B, and I'll try to be somewhat coherent about it because I'm still working out the details. So, what I plan on doing, I should have did it this week. I'm gonna try to do it next week. Is the idea is I'm going to put out a poll for members on Sunday. The poll is going to be and it's going to be like an answer kind of question. It's going to be an answer questions about a particular soap opera. So let's say the members on Sunday, out of all four soap operas, they choose B&B, right? So Friday, I'll sit there and put out a poll, or I'll put out something in the community tab for everyone. What are your thoughts on B&B? Or do you think that Luna is, Jack's father, or do you think it's Finn's father, and why not, right? And then people will sit there and comment on it. Saturday, I'll sit there and read the questions or read the comments and then just give my little thoughts and opinions on either each person's comments or just my thoughts depending on what the comment is and, whatever. So that'd be a great way for the members to sit there and kind of control the narrative on what type of content I put on Saturday as far as what soap opera. And it'd be a little interactive as far as Saturdays and you get to sit there and have your comment read out and stuff like that. Um, I'm still deciding on the order. It'll probably be most likely. Don't get me wrong. I'll try to do every person's comment, depending on how popular this will get, and also how popular it will get will determine if there's something that I would continue to move forward in, this year moving forward, or if it's not as popular, then I'll try something else. But I have a couple ideas, and this is one of many. So let me know in the comment section if this is something that would be cool or come tonight and let me know if this is something that would be cool or whatever. And yeah, I'll see you in the next. I'm not ending on 13 minutes. Yep, that's right. I'm superstitious. I'm not letting it end on 13 minutes. Fuck. I do have a little thing that I may talk about tonight a little bit and put in my Instagram. Twitter just pretty much analyzed me as a content creator, right? And I'm still just kind of reeling from this. You type on this, if you have Twitter, there's going to be a number. Like mine says X1 or something like that. You click on it, and it pretty much gives you because I upload my YouTube videos on there to, give people who's on Twitter, hey, listen, I may want to sit there and get a review on it. And essentially, this analyzes you as a content creator or just as a person in general, but like it analyzed me. It wasn't scary. It was just shocking. It was like, and I'll put a post out. I don't know if I'm only going to do for members. I will do it in my Instagram, but I'm just like really shocked, like how AI actually thought about me. Like, this is some weird shit. I'm gonna be honest. This is some weird shit. It's not scary. It's just like, wow. With sharp rhetorics. Calling out detractors with sharp rhetorics. That's very true. It's a compliment. But, like, yeah, I'll put it out on my Instagram thing. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you're not following me, follow me on Instagram or become a member and I'll put it out on there. And